Hey friends, my name's Aaron Ciotti. Everybody calls me Ciotti. Welcome to the show. It's Monday Q&A. We're also going to be working on the Cineglide tonight, putting O3 into it, as well as ELRS. I forgot to grab an ELRS module. And we're going to fly a few batteries. Can you work, please? There we go. We're going to fly a few batteries. You should fly your 6 today. You should fly your 6 every day. And of course, it's a Q&A live stream. So ask any questions that you've got in the chat. Matthew W. is first. Frank Nicholas, Tamava, Alley Cat, P. Richard Scott, Ray's FPV, Frank Nicholas, capital C, Danzilla the Terrible, Frosty, McMucus, Chris Mel, Jamie Flies, Teleport, Danzilla, Skull, Kazuma. What's up, everybody? Thanks for coming. CiottiFPV.com if you want to support me. Patreon is the best thing you can do. Switch your bookmarks over to affiliate links, if not mine, somebody else's. Support people that are making stuff that you can watch for free here on YouTube, and we'll keep making stuff for you to watch for free here on YouTube. Cool. In the chat, if you want to talk directly to me, type CiottiFPV in your message. You can put an @, in front of it, but you don't have to. If you want to get somebody else in chat's attention, you can do the same thing. Type their name, spell it right, put the spaces in the right places, and yeah, good things will happen. Good things will happen. They'll just see your comment and do the thing. They'll respond to it. Ray says, what's your ganglionites? What's up, CiottiFPV? How's it going, Rays? What should we fly? What do you want to fly? I just spit. Yikes. What are we flying? Quad blades? You guys want to see more 1.2-inch quad blade action? Biblades? Want to see some more slippery biblade, slidey, slip slap? This is the... No, it's not. Where's the newbie drone race at? Did I get him confused? I got him confused. Here it is. We can do some newbie drone hummingbird race 3.1 action. We've only flown this a little bit. We should probably fly this. It's got the True RC tiny little antenna on it. Kind of see it. I might need to set this back up though. I haven't flown this since newbie drone sent it back to me. Let me see what it weighs. Hold on. I'm gonna smash this scale. The power button doesn't work. 16.5, 16.5 grams with a good antenna on it, and a solid camera mount. That's pretty light. This is the Brain camera mount. It is by no means the lightest mount out there, but it's really solid. It holds the camera in place. It holds the camera flat and level. And it looks pretty cool. So, yeah, we might need to set... Hold on. Let me... You guys like it when I'm angry, right? You guys laugh at my anger, right? Let's see if we can get this thing to hook up to Betaflight. So, the new newbie drone race comes with this little dongle, USB-C on one side, pins on the other side, and then you drop it down onto the flight controller. You drop the pins down into the flight controller, and then it kind of sort of connects and kind of sort of works. You just have to like not touch it, like put it somewhere that, yeah, like put it on the desk. Don't try to hold it in your hand or it'll disconnect. If you stick your tongue out, it'll help line it up with the pins. Oh my god, come on. I can't see anything. My god, dude. Magnification. How did I do anything? My eyes weren't trash, that's how. Having magnification, good lord. I should have probably plugged in the USB-C before I put these pins in here. I hope I don't bend these pins. USB-C does take some force to plug it in. So it's in there now, and I'm just going to leave it sitting right there on the desk. I'm not going to touch it. And it's probably going to be fine. Alley Cat votes Biblades. Brent Anderson says, hello? Betaflight's coming up. Let's see. Let's see if they had to reflash the entire thing, or if they just were able to reflash the ESC. So for those that didn't catch it, Newbie Drone very kindly sent me one of the Race 2s, the new one, Hummingbird Race 2, and I flew a couple batteries. It was great. And then I said, oh, let's change a bunch of shit. And one of the things that I tried to change was the ESC firmware. You can't do that. They use a specific ESC firmware on this thing. And so by changing it, I bricked it. And I had to send it, I had to mail it. I had to mail it back to them. But look, oh wait, no, this isn't my, what is this? Yeah, these are not my settings. They had to reflash the whole thing. So it's all the way wiped out. Well, I mean, that's not the end of the world. Not the end of the world. If you get a brand new rig, here's a setup procedure. Go into setup, click calibrate accelerometer, click accelerate calibrometer. Go into the ports tab. Don't change anything because it's a bind and fly. Bind it and fly it. Configuration tab. Change. Yeah, they totally wiped it out. Put your name on there. PID loop frequency. You want that to be either 8 or 4 or 3.2. Depends on the gyro. Depends on the AIO. D-shot beacon configuration over here. You want both of these switches turned on so that you can use your ESC beeper. Maximum arming angle of 180 basically turns it off. That's fine. Permanently enable air mode. We're going to turn that off because we've got air mode on a switch. OSD should be turned on, and for this particular rig, that's it. Save and reboot. You shouldn't need to change anything else on a bind and fly. The board orientation should be correct. If it's not correct, send hate mail to whoever you got it from. Pop back into the configuration, just make sure everything's saved. All right, we're good. Power and battery. You shouldn't need to touch anything, but just take a look at your minimum and warning cell voltage. Save that. Failsafe, since it's a Cinewhoop, I changed the stage 2 settings to 3 seconds instead of 1.5 seconds. Basically what this means is that if the quad is no longer getting signals from the transmitter, it will hold the last input that you had in there, and it'll hold it for that amount of time. In this case, I've changed it to 3 seconds. Period of time in stage 1 failsafe after signal loss. So for 3 seconds, it's just going to hold whatever the last command that it got, and then at the end of that 3 seconds, it's going to do whatever this failsafe procedure that you have set here, which in most cases should be drop, but if you're using GPS, you might be using GPS rescue. I haven't played around with that yet. Don't use land. This is sketchy. Sketchy. Don't use that. I think I already saved and but let's do it again. Presets, you should not need to do anything in here. It's a bind and fly. Bind it and fly it. PIDs tab. Maybe take a picture of this, especially if you're going to start screwing around with stuff. This is the default tune. It flies really well with this tune, so I'm actually going to leave it alone. Although, boy, they've got the yaw values turned down quite a bit. Flurk in the Blurk with a $2 super chat. Thank you, brother. He says, Woot, a stream, best way to mount RunCam Nano 3. Which one's that? Right. The one with no mounting. It depends on what you're mounting it in. Like, are you mounting it in a 5-inch rig? Are you mounting it in a Cinewhoop? Are you mounting it in something in between? Yeah, completely depends on what you're mounting it in. Unless you, well, also, what? Oh, this is the Racer Nano 3. I got you. Racer Nano 3. Yeah, that's not the one. I'm assuming that this is the one that you're talking about. The one that has no mounting provisions whatsoever. If it's a Cinewhoop, you should put it in a Mobula 6 canopy. You can also put it in a Mobula 6 2024 canopy, but you're going to have to hack and slash your way through it. Use the old school Mobula 6 canopy. It's one of the best things about the RunCam Nano 3 is that canopy was designed for it, and that canopy is awesome. Alright, so motor output limit 100%, throttle boost Doesn't matter. Dynamic idle. Wow, dynamic idle is cranked up. I don't love using dynamic idle on 1S, but whatever. We'll leave it. Flurk in the Billick with a $5 super chat. He says, Mobile 6 canopy it is. Much love. Thank you, dude. Yeah, man. Dave S. is correct. With the Mobile 6 canopy, you'll have an upside-down flying ball sack. It's great. County FPV says, I'm looking to set up my GPS on my 5-inch. You've come to the wrong place. Should I update to 4.5? If so, my whoops need to be updated as well. Works Betaflight. No, you can have different versions of Betaflight. That's totally on different rigs. That's totally fine. I don't know anything about GPS. I've never touched it. So yeah, I'm unfortunately not the guy. But I'm sure Joshua Bardwell has a video on it. So look that up and away you go. Benny Bravo says, is a 12 amp ESC sufficient for 75 millimeters? Absolutely. You could probably get away with quite a bit less than that, but 5 amp ESCs seem to be like at their limit on 75 millimeter rigs with mega KV motor setups, which is what you're gonna want for a 75 millimeter rig to fly outside. And so yeah, 12 amp is more than enough. Way more than enough. Always remember, with the amp rating of these ESCs, that's per channel, right? So that's 12, 24, 36, 48 amps total. What Cinewhoop is going to pull 48 amps, right? Most like 3-inch freestyle gnarly 1404, 1504, 1604 builds aren't going to pull 48 amps. Even if you do manage to pull 48 amps on it, that is typically the constant rating. You're not going to pull 48 amps constant. There's going to be a burst rating on these ESC FETs that's usually like another amp or two. So like the burst rating is probably like 14 amps, and it'll hold that burst rating for usually like 2 to 6 seconds. So yeah, always keep that in mind. Jamie Fly's dropping some GPS knowledge into the chat. Thank you, brother. Talking about 4.5 is definitely where you want to be for if you're going to use GPS. For Betaflight 4.5, I should specify. All right, so back to the newbie drone race here. Everything's looking kind of fine. I'm just making tiny little changes. Nothing really crazy. I'll put my rates on here. I don't know what the throttle midpoint is, so I'm gonna leave this alone. I'll set that in the OSD. I'll take the midpoint is certainly not going to be 50%, so I'm just taking a quick guess and changing it to 30. That'll help me when I'm in the menu not have to like hit, roll left, roll left, roll left, roll left a million times to adjust it. But yeah, the throttle expo is actually off. This is the best way to figure out what your midpoint needs to be. You get this set up, you get your throttle value in your OSD, you fly around the spot that you're going to fly the rig most often, and you just glance down at your throttle value when you're just cruising around, going roughly the speed that you're going to be going when you want maximum throttle resolution. That's probably a little bit slower. When, like, flying around the house, for example, you want max throttle expo when you're really low to the ground. And when you're really low to the ground, you're probably going to be flying a little bit slower. So fly really low to the ground a bunch and keep glancing over at your throttle value, and you'll get an idea of where you want the midpoint. Then you drop your midpoint in, you put a bunch of throttle expo in there, like 0.4, which will be very noticeable, and you fly it around and you see how it feels, and then you move your midpoint up a little bit, and then you move your midpoint down a little bit. And it'll be very obvious where it feels the best when you're flying low to the ground, or when you're flying in whatever situation that you want the maximum amount of throttle resolution. That's like the 2-minute version of how to set throttle expo. if you go, if you're on my channel here on YouTube and you click the little magnifying glass, you can search for Throttle Expo, and I did like a 40-minute rant on it twice, which really dives into how to set it. But for those of you that have been messing around with it maybe a little bit or have seen those, yeah, this little 2-minute summation will potentially help you out a little bit. Here's the default filtering. It's really aggressive. I cannot believe how much... I got the dynamic notch filter turned off. They're running a lot of filtering here because they're not running a dynamic notch filter. That's interesting. I'll leave it. It's a bind and fly. We're going to bind it and fly it. Receiver tab. We need to go to TAER. 1,000 for the stick low. 2,000 for the stick high. Add a little bit of deadband here in case there's a little jitter in the transmitter. Auto factor is 30. That's pretty low. I'm going to crank this auto factor up to 100. Not 1,000, 100. You might not, your transmitter channel map might not be TAER 1, 2, 3, 4. Mine is. Your stick low and stick high thresholds, you got to check those. You got to put your sticks both sticks top right. That'll check the high numbers here, and then both your sticks bottom left. That'll check the low numbers. Put the stick low and stick high thresholds close to those, but inside of those. My transmitter, when I go bottom left on the sticks, it reads 988. When I go top right on the sticks, it reads 2011. So for me, the stick low threshold of 1,000 gives me a little bit of room for error, and the stick high threshold of 2,000 gives me a little bit of room for error as well. But it maximizes the throw of those sticks. 1,000 and 2,000 will work for most people. DKZ Project says, have you seen the Flywoo O4 wide lens adapter? Yep, we talked about it on yesterday's live stream. I don't love that it's a lens on top of a lens, but the only other option would be for them to force you to rip your camera apart, which is a terrible idea. So it makes sense. I love that it exists. I'm a little bit worried that it's going to hurt image quality, but time will tell. A bunch of people will test it, and we'll take a look at their flight footage and see if it looks okay. So receiver tab's good to go. Let's say, well, I do need to get my binding phrase on here. Let's try this. I have a cool new method of kind of getting around the binding phrase. Like, if you're gonna use the binding phrase, you can't use the Lua script to bind. But if you've got a module that has a screen on it, even if it's set up with a binding phrase like this one is, weirdly you can still use the built-in binding method. So check this out, right? I'm gonna power this up. Well, it's in Wi-Fi mode. That might cause a problem, but I'm going to come in here and I'm going to click the bind receiver button. Ready? So I'm going to click bind receiver. That might put it... Oh, it did put it in bind mode. And so now, since this guy has the screen, I'm going to go in here. I'm going to navigate to bind mode, press the send bind request, and it binds. I don't understand why they can't do that in the Lua script, but boy, is that handy. What's super annoying for me is that I've got the Nomad, which doesn't have a screen on it. So when I use there's nothing I can do with the Nomad, but luckily I also have this Naminmo module that has the screen, and I can go into bind mode, and it works. It's such a cool little workaround, and now we're good to go. So here's what I was talking about. Sticks bottom left, right? When I go both sticks bottom left, those numbers go down below 1,000. See that? All three of those numbers are below 1,000. Just barely below 1,000, but below 1,000. Sticks top right, they're just a little bit above 2,000. And so the stick low and stick high thresholds, I put those close to those numbers, but you want to give yourself a little bit of margin for error. Here's the jitter that I'm talking about. These are fairly new gimbals, but there's still a little bit of jitter. It's jittering from 1500 up to 1502, and I'm seeing 1503. So I have the deadband set at 4. And so the quad will not try to move around with that jitter. It'll just ignore those center 4 points of jitter, and it'll fly straight and true. We've got aux 2, aux 1, aux 3, and then on the momentary switch, oh, it's aux 6. I thought it was aux 5. That's interesting. So on the momentary switch, I'm aux 6. That's what I'm going to use to turn air mode off momentarily. We're going to save the receiver tab. We're going to come into modes. Arm is set properly. Angle mode we're going to turn off. Horizon we are going to leave on. I want this to be on the aux 2 switch in the all the way up position here, which I don't use very much, but it's like a, if I panic and lose video, I can flip that on. Accelerometer comes on, hammer the throttle, get the thing up above, you know, so you can maybe recover it. This is, I've saved multiple rigs with that setup. Beeper, we're going to add range, flip the switch we want. That's aux 3, and we want the beeper to be in the farthest down switch position. Air mode, we're going to add range. We're going to flip the aux 6 switch. I want air mode on when the switch is in its sprung position, and then I want air mode off when I flip the switch. So right now it's on, now it's off. That's the way that you want it set up if you're going to do if you're going to have a switch set up to turn air mode off and on. Flip over after crash is also on aux 3 here, but we want it in the middle switch position. There's a weird bug where if you turn the beeper on and then you turn turtle mode on, sometimes it won't spin the motors backwards. And the easy fix for that is to put turtle mode in your middle. If you're putting it on a 3-position switch, you put turtle mode in the middle, and then you put the beeper all the way at the end. And then so your normal switch position is going to be over here. You flip it 1 click, it goes into turtle mode, which also you use much more often. And then you flip it again to get to the beeper. This prevents that weird-ass bug. I've heard that bug has been fixed. I ran into it not too long ago, so I don't think it's been fixed, but it's not a big deal. Launch control is just kind of for funsies. I put it on aux 2. Play around with it. You'll see. It's easy to use. What is this ready? Look at this. What's ready mean? Is there a tooltip? Oh, that's really cool. Yo, that's super cool. Look at that. Racers know what's up, man. They know how to fix shit. Not fix shit. They know how to customize shit. Save it. We're good to go. I have a cool little setup on Cinewhoops where I can have a clean OSD that also does have warnings. And the way that I do that is you come into adjustments, which is only available when you've enabled expert mode up here. You come into adjustments, you enable one of these, you check the channel for the switch that you want to use, you open the full range up, then apply OSD profile selection via channel, same channel. So aux 2 full range OSD profile selection, same channel here, aux 2, which is the switch I want it to be on. You save it, and then what that allows you to do is use the 3 different OSD profiles on that switch. So if you put the switch in the first position, you'll get this OSD profile, second position this one, third one this one. Out of the box, they only set up this. So if I leave it the way that it is now, in the switch position number 1, I'm going to have all these OSD elements. In switch position 2 and 3, I'm going to have nothing. That's not really what I want. I want switch position 3 to be the clean one. So what I'm going to do is like turn a bunch of these on. I have a chunk of text down here in a little sticky note with my exact OSD setup to save me from having to manually set this up every single time. So I'm just going to highlight that. You can't see this, but you're not missing anything. I'm highlighting a chunk of text. I'm going to come into the CLI, and I'm going to paste it all, and then hit enter. And now this is all of my OSD stuff. Type save, and now my OSD is customized the exact way that I like it, which is right here. You do want to spot check it because that will turn stuff on, but it won't turn stuff off. So if there's like a weird OSD element that was on there by default, it'll still be turned on, but in this case, we're good to go. So what you're going to see here is all of these are going to be on switch positions 1 and 2. So the farthest forward and the middle switch position is going to have full OSD, but then look at the very bottom here. In the third switch position, I've got warnings as well. So the third switch position, all the OSD that I'm going to get is warnings, and so when the battery starts getting low, it's going to give me a low battery warning so that I don't ruin my battery. In the Modes tab, there is an option for OSD disable. This disables everything, though. And this is a great way to kill a bunch of batteries because you fly them down to like 2 volts because you didn't get your battery low warning. So this is the super, super, super easy way to do it here, but it's not much harder to do it the way that I just showed you, and then you won't kill batteries. Then you'll save yourself time and money. So do it that way. Do it the way I just showed you here. Don't do it the lazy way. Or do it the lazy way. Do whatever you want. It's your funeral. Save that and we're good to go. Motors tab. This is where things get a little bit hairy because we have to touch the quad, and that's going to make these pins potentially lose contact. Let's come back to this. We'll do this dead last. You know what? We won't need to touch this. It's a bind and fly. It's set up, props in. We're good. I won't have to touch this. Video transmitter. It's a bind and fly. Leave it alone for the most part. Other than low power disarm, turn that to on until first arm. I am going to turn down the power. That's a bit much. It was set to max. And I might as well pick my channel here. But again, don't go bananas in here. Definitely don't touch anything down here. You're just going to screw stuff up. Save it. Sensors we don't use. Tethered logging we don't use. Black box this board doesn't have, I don't think. Nope, no black box. So yeah, I mean, at this point, we could check the motor position and the motor direction, but it's a bind and fly. It should be totally fine. One last thing that I like to do is set up crash recovery. Again, I have a little chunk of text down here in my sticky note that I can just copy, come to the CLI, and drop in. Here's the way that I set it. The D threshold, the G threshold, and the set point threshold you might need to customize for your specific setup. A bunch of people have used this setup here and have actually had totally good luck with it. And so yeah, feel free to give this a try. But if you put this in and like at random or when you do hard moves, your rig is doing uncommanded, like it's leveling itself out uncommanded. You're gonna need to change some of these. There's a great chunk of text on. Here's how you find it. Betaflight. You search for Betaflight wiki. Well, fuck it. Betaflight wiki crash recovery. I bet you that'll find it. Yep. There you go. So just Google search Betaflight wiki crash recovery. The very first, well, in my version of Google, the very first result is, this is the correct result. Look for something that looks like this. And just read this. Read through this. They've changed this. This is, ooh, this is even better. It used to be a much uglier chunk of text, but this is much better. They have drastically improved this. Very, very cool. Oh, look at this. Oh my god. Oh, I was going to say, I thought they had big chunks of text for everything. Look at this, though. I didn't realize that there were... Yo. That's pretty cool. So these are the different modes. Damn, dude. That's really slick. If you want to mess with your friends, set it to disarm. Let me just take a quick look at the defaults. Crash D threshold, sensitivity threshold based on D term values. Crash G threshold, sensitivity on gyro readings. Oh, this is great. Based on stick position. Recovery angle, angle to which the craft will try to recover. What does that mean? Defines the angle? I don't think I changed the recovery angle, so the default setting of 10 seems to work totally fine. Crash recovery rate. This is kind of a cool one. I think I have that one maxed out, don't I? Not quite. I have it almost maxed out. It's at 200. This recovers how quick it recovers. So you want this to be pretty high. The default value of 100 is kind of slow. Crash limit yaw limits the yaw rate during recovery to prevent yaw spins. That's pretty slick. I don't change that, though. The default value works pretty good. Maximum duration in milliseconds for which crash recovery attempts will be made. I should probably spend some more time screwing around with these to get it dialed in even better. I might be able to... Every once in a while, it triggers crash recovery when I don't really want it to, and that kind of screws me up. I could probably decrease the frequency of that happening. Type save, and away we go. And now this thing is all good to go. I'm not even going to hook it back up. I'm just going to pull the pins from the little dongle off the board. And, yeah. If one of you motherfuckers want to be super nerdy and dive into each one of those values and move it up and down and let the community know what you're... because I probably won't. The way that I have crash recovery set up, it works really, really well almost all the time. And so I don't have a lot of... motivation to spend a bunch more time on it. But if one of you guys wants to, let us know. Let us know if... Yeah, just let us know. Let us know things. Over on the Discord, link on CiottiFPV.com. That's where we kind of hang out and swap tech, and that's where you're going to learn lots, my friends. My Discord is a beautiful place. Let's fly the damn thing. We just got it all set up. The batteries are charged. Let's send it, bro. Am I a cool YouTuber now? I said send it. Let me say it 7,000 more times until I vomit. I wonder how many subscribers I lose every time I do that. I wonder how many people get so offended because they say it. You can say it all you want, but, like, I'm gonna give you shit for it. It's just the way it is. Moss1 says, what's the max you let your core temperature get to? I leave it alone. I almost Stevie wondered it. I leave it at the default value, whatever that is. Newbie Drone Race V2. Let's see if it flies. Well, it didn't arm. I had it on turtle mode. Holy fucking hell. Very light. Wow, very light. Whoa, okay. That's the first time I'd gone full throttle. Yeah. Woo! Whoa, boy. Nope. Nope. Save me. Wow. Oh. It was flying away on its own a little bit there. Whoa, there it was again. So, whoa, wow, okay. Yep, there's something going on here. Yep. Okay. So, I really don't like... Where'd you go, you little shitbird? Where are you? Oh, there you are. I really don't like that the dynamic notch filter is turned off. I don't know if that's a mistake or what, but we're gonna turn it back on. We're gonna turn it on. And I bet you that fixes the issue. I'm gonna assume that they have the tune absolutely at the limit because that's what racers are kind of into. And it might save them a fraction of a second. But us freestyle donkeys don't need that much anger. hang on. There we go. Just getting a little dongle into the little pinholes. Has anybody else gotten one of these? What's your take on the dongle pins situation? Is it driving you to drink? All right, so we're going to come in here, PID tuning, filter settings, and we're just going to click the dynamic notch filter on. We're not just going to do that. We do not need 3 notches. We're going to turn it down to 1. 1 dynamic filter notch. I love that they've got the max frequency all the way up here at 750. For high kV powerful motors, you want this to be 750, 800, 900, 1,000, up and just crank it up. Q factor is 500. Yeah, let's see. Let's see how this does. Now we don't need so much gyro filter. So I'm actually going to whip this gyro filter multiplier slider all the way up to 2.0 in addition. So I'm removing gyro filtering, standard gyro low pass filtering, but I'm adding dynamic notch filtering. Turning on the dynamic notch filter is going to increase the delay. Cranking up the gyro filter multiplier as high as it'll go for as little filtering as possible is going to reduce delay. So in theory, we will get the dynamic notch filter. It'll move around a little bit. And so in theory, we've given this more effective filtering, but roughly the same amount of filtering. We've probably actually added a little bit of filtering and a little bit of delay, but that's okay, because the way that it was set up out of the box, without that dynamic notch filter, like it's a bit much, man. Let's see what's up. Way better. I can already tell you that it's better. From woo my god. I can already tell you it's better from when I chop the throttle. The main reason that every time I take off I do this is because when you hammer the throttle like that and then you chop it down to 0 as quick as you can, it's a really nice way of being able to tell, oh boy, tell where your tune is at. If you've got a build that's slightly overtuned or way overtuned, oh, that was the coolest fucking thing ever! I fucking crashed a cymbal and then that triggered crash recovery and it went right side up and it was like, yeah, we cool. That was insane. Yeah, if you're slightly overtuned, when you chop the throttle like that, the motors will not spin down cleanly and quickly. They'll like hang or they'll slowly spin down. So it's a really cool way of checking where your tune is at. And I've got a little bit of weirdness in the OSD right now. So let me check the looks like about 32. I got a little bit of strangeness going on in the OSD, though. I cannot believe I'm going to have to plug these effing pins back in. There are 2 OSD elements on top of one another right now is what's going on. So let's fix that real quick. And while I'm at it, I'll drop in the I'll drop in the throttle expo midpoint and turn on the throttle expo. So I was seeing like 32, 31, 30 in that neighborhood for my kind of cruising throttle. It was towards the end of the battery, but that's all right. I've got sag compensation turned on. So let's connect again and let's fix the OSD first. So basically this is my throttle position. That's the little symbol for it, and this is the value. But then there's battery voltage behind that, and we don't want or need that. battery voltage. Here it is. I don't use this, and I don't think you should either. This is the full battery voltage. It only gives you 1 decimal point. If you turn this off and you use battery average cell voltage, that's what's right here. And as you can see, it gives you 2 decimal points. It also prevents you from having to do math. This averages the battery out and just gives you the individual cell voltage. So regardless of what you're flying, you'll just know what the battery is at by it doing the division for you. So use that. It gets you more accuracy with 2 decimal points, and every single build will give you the same number, and you don't have to do maths. And then what did I say? We're going to drop in a little bit of throttle expo action. So the midpoint was looking like 30, was looking like a cutie. We're going to say 32. Looking like a cutie. Ting-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Maggie says that all the time, and it has just completely eaten my brain. My brain is mush. Looking like a... Okay. Let's save that. I'm going to run a lot of Throttle Expo because this thing has more power than God. And there we go. Hopefully I don't have to connect this silly little dongle thing again. Dinzilla Turbo says, if your flight controller desolders itself, your core temperature is set too high. Talha says, what's your daily driver FPV bag? It's an old-ass low pro BPX3, which unfortunately you can't get anymore. If anybody has a buddy with a low pro BPX3 that's in good condition, try to convince them to sell it to Aaron Ciotti. He needs a fresh one. Mine has been all over the damn place, and it is beat. Did I just put the same battery on? I did indeed. Let's not do that. I put a lot of... I put probably too much Throttle Expo in here. But let's just take a gander. Maybe it'll be alright. Let's just give it a little flip-flop in the bing-bong. Know what I'm saying? Oh, God! Oh, no! God, I love how it feels with tons of Throttle Expo. My goodness. Look at that prominent butthole. Teddy, come on. Have some decency. Here's his new haircut. You can actually see him. He just looks less scraggly, man. Just less scraggly. Still's got some big fluffy legs. But, you know, like 80% less nappy beard action. Oh, God. So, I use a lot of Throttle Expo so that when I'm flying low to the ground, I can make tiny, tiny little adjustments so that I can do stuff like that and crash into the wall. So that I can do stuff like this. Oh, wait, there's a box on the other side. Okay. Well, it gives you more throttle resolution, which is a good thing. Oh, my God! It doesn't make it... It doesn't make you a better pilot, or it doesn't make it have less power. Whoa! Yo, I'm playing drums tonight. Oh! Whoo! Shit. Oh my God, easy, fella. Easy, easy, easy. You're flying like a racer. Calm down. Oh boy, this thing has so much power. These are the Gemfan Ultralight 1.2 by 1.2 by 2s. Very powerful props. Oh God. Hey, we're hitting everything tonight. Ah! Whew, boy. Come on now. You couldn't have just hooked me up? Oh, boy, that blanket is in a spot that apparently I fly through a lot. Because it's like the 14th time I've had to dodge that burrito blanket. Oh my God. The crispness from all this power. Ah! But no, wait. Is nuts. I really I gave it that little flick early so that we could see where we were going, and I just saw I knew it wasn't gonna go through the gate, but like no correction I was gonna make was gonna help. Come on, one more shot at the mega power loop. One more try. Nope. I don't know what's happening. Oh my god, I went between them. We got one more. Battery's got one more in it. Ah! See, you can't be gentle going into this. You gotta just do it. Ah! Looking like a cutie. Ting-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Hey, I didn't even have to turn air mode off with the switch. Look at that. 3 minutes and 6 seconds. Blapping around the room. I may have broken this True RC antenna already. Hold on. There is a kink in the antenna that was not there at the beginning of the battery. I think we're alright. Doesn't look super happy, but might be alright. The torture testing of the True RC tiny little micro V-ish antenna has begun. Hummingbird Race V2. Admittedly annoying to have to use this silly little pin-based glip-glop to hook up to this thing, but you can do a lot in the OSD, and it saves weight, and it's one less thing to break off the board, and so in some ways it's kind of really cool. In other ways, it's going to annoy the living hell out of you. But for a super hardcore race rig, which this is, I kind of get it. Christ, there's a chunk of the racing community that doesn't tune at all. They just kind of leave stuff alone. And for them, yeah, that's awesome. Wow, that is hard to fly. That's a lot. A lot. But very fun. Usually, if I've got a rig that's this lightweight, it doesn't have this much power. I'll put this much power into the heavier rigs. This feels out of balance. It's too light with too much power. Hysterical, but like very hard to fly because of that. Back in my motorsport and car obsessed days, I got to drive a bunch of really high horsepower Miatas, and anything over like 250 horsepower, it's the same kind of deal. The car is too light and it's got too much power. In the car world, there's kind of more to it. Like the Miata has fender wells that you can really only fit like 245 width tires. When you've got like an LS motor in there making 400, 500 horsepower and that same amount of torque, that's nowhere near enough tire. And so like there's more that goes into it in the car world, but it kind of it reminds me of that, where like it's hysterical, but for something that you want to like drive or fly on the limit, it's super difficult. It's like that ratio is so skewed to having like so much power and so little weight, that it literally makes it difficult. If that could be super fun to you, and it could be the most fun rig that you've ever flown. I'm not going to say that it's not, but you know, who wants to fly for fun when you can fly for performance? It's a weird thing to say. Teddy, why you got all these little moles, buddy? All right, dog beatings have been achieved. Dog has been beaten. Very cool little rig. If you want a hardcore race rig, boy, just buy one of these. I skipped a bunch of chat comments. Let me get caught back up. I was on a roll. We were ripping through this. I hope you enjoyed that. This is an outrageously impressive rig. I can't believe that a company sells something that's this aggressively built. If you want to get into Cinewhoop racing, snag one of those while you can, because I can't imagine that they will continue to hand solder windings to these tiny little pads forever. So yeah, if you want one of these, get it while they still sell them. Maybe they will. Maybe they'll sell it forever. But I have a funny feeling they won't. And it's it's hysterical. It's hysterical to fly. It really is. It will challenge you unlike any other thing you've ever flown. How about that? We might fly another couple batteries on that in a little bit. County FPV says, I'm looking to set... Oh, no, we got that. Frank Nicholas says, ELRS binding, are you sure you have a current updated ELRS LUA script? Yep, I updated it like 4 weeks ago. It specifically says on the ELRS website that if you're using a binding phrase, you can't use the bind feature. ELRS LUA bind. ELRS LUA bind. What's it called? See if this finds it. There you go. A receiver flash is set with a binding phrase will not initiate manual binding mode. However, many times you try the procedure below, you must repeat. But yeah, I found a workaround, yo. That workaround is only for folks with modules that have screens on them, because I guess that doesn't go through the Lua script. CMYK says, yo, cooking and listening. What's up, gangly gang? Sleepy FPV says, what's up? You good today? Sorry I was late to show up. I'm not good today. I'm having a super shitty day. I've felt awful all day. But you know, you can't call out sick every single time you have depression when you live with depression. So, you know, here I am. That's just the way that mental health is sometimes. Moss1 says, what's the max... Oh, no, we got that. Denzel says, didn't Top Gear refer to the Miata as a hairdresser's car? Yes, not just Top Gear, but lots of people. That's been an ongoing joke forever. Everybody thinks that joke is funny until they buy a Miata or spend a bunch of time driving one, and then they go, oh, I get it now. Yeah. I mean, on one hand, lightweight it's lightweight, and like when you have your first lightweight car experience, like that's basically what's happening. But the suspension geometry of the Miata is as close to perfect as any manufacturer is ever going to get it, especially in the 90s, the 80s and late 80s and into the 90s. The car looks great. Stock, I don't know, but throw a couple of parts at it and they look amazing. Throw a set of wheels at it, lower them an inch, put like a front lip, maybe a little spoiler on the back, and they look awesome. If you don't think so, you're wrong. And just like as a platform to build on, it's absolutely phenomenal. Like it has a massive aftermarket, and there are hundreds of thousands of people that love them for good reason. Like it's a thing of absolute beauty. It'll change the way that you look at cars forever. For the better, yes, but fair warning, once you drive one, When you get into something that's over 4,000 pounds, you'll be like, ugh. like once you have an experience with like a 2,000 pound car that actually handles decent with good geometry, yeah, everything else kind of feels like shit. But that's a good thing, right? Like, you know, you shouldn't like drive or whatever, use things that suck forever just because you don't want to like spoil your sort of barometer for what good and bad is, unless it's a money thing, right? So cycling, right? So cycling, for example, these guys have these like unbelievable full carbon fiber bikes and crazy wheels and shit like that cost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And so like, if your buddy is like, if you don't have that kind of budget and your buddy's like, yo, here, you want to ride this $5,000 bicycle? Maybe don't do that because it's just a money thing. With the Miata, you can get one for a couple $1,000. Like they're incredibly inexpensive. That's the other thing that's amazing about them is that they're very, very, very inexpensive. And so, yeah, you should. Everyone should have a Miata experience at least once in their life. And it's not just... It's not just drive one once and then be like, yeah, okay. You got to spend a few hours in it. You got to go out alone. You got to put the top down. You got to like find your favorite road, and you got to form a little bit of a connection with it. And then, because like what it does, and so Mazda Japan. During the development of the car, they developed a little slogan, which is Shinbai Tai, which means the literal translation is of horse and rider. What they were saying is that they wanted to build something that connected you in the same way that like riding a horse connects you to the ground. And that's exactly what they did. And that's why you have to spend some time in it. And that's why you kind of have to go out alone in it. And it communicates better than pretty much anything under six figures, like what is going on with the ground. Hopefully you can spend some time in one that's not just annihilated, right? Like one that's somewhat fresh or has had some love thrown at it. But yeah, that's what happens. It really connects you with the world around you. And the road surface that you're on, and that allows you to kind of like read the grip level, and it allows you to be very confident, and it is unlike anything else I've ever driven, and I've driven a lot of different stuff. If you spend enough money, there are things that are engineered as well, but yeah, for the money, there's absolutely nothing that can touch it. They're magic. Denzel the Terrible says, yes, CiottiFPV, what was that BNF? What do you mean? Frank Nicholas says, it said receiver with binding phrase set. Your radio is the transmitter. New bind and fly / receiver will have no binding phrase set. Yeah, I don't know. But I've tried to use the binding feature in the Lua script at least 30 or 40 times, and it's never once worked. But doing what I showed you earlier works. So, you know, whatever. Moss1 says, see the new Vet stock 78mm twin turbos. I didn't realize they were doing that. That's suicide. Good for them, though. That's absolutely ridiculous. The end of the turbo says, P.S. I know Miatas are cool, just like the Buster Balls. Tim S. says, if you need to take the day off for the good of your mental health, take the day. Chances are a day now won't lead you needing to take a week somewhere down the line. So Tim S., I don't recognize the name, which basically means that you either have been lurking for a while or you're somewhat new. I talk about mental health as much as I kind of can. I've had pretty nasty generalized anxiety disorder and pretty severe depressive disorder my whole life. It's really bad. If I didn't live stream every day that I felt like I do today, I wouldn't live stream very much. And so unfortunately, I can't do that. I can't just not live stream because, because I'm in a depressive episode. It's when it's really, really, really bad, and to the point where I can't function, then I can't live stream, and so sometimes I won't live stream. But it has to be really bad because it's always here. One of the most accurate but kind of horrifying ways that I've heard severe depression described is that it's always waiting for you out in the parking lot doing push-ups. It doesn't take a day off. It's always there. I've spent almost 20 years, about 20 years now, working with 6 or 7 different talk therapists. I've tried a slew of different medications. Today sitting here, I have more tools and more knowledge and more ability to kind of fight it than I ever have. But it's still doing push-ups, and it's still getting stronger. And yeah, it sucks, but it's a disease that there's not a pill for a lot of people. And I've gotten really, really, really good at managing it. I know it might not seem like it, but believe me, I have. You have to. If you don't get good at managing it, you take your own life. And so, yeah, the fact that I'm still sitting here breathing is a testament to the fact that I've gotten really good at dealing with it, because I have it pretty bad. It when it decides that it wants to drive me into the ground, it does. And everything that I've ever learned and every method of coping with it that I've got, can't do shit. I just kind of have to wait it out, which is incredibly frustrating, but do whatever I can. So yeah, there you go. There's a little bit of a delve into my my ongoing struggle with depression and anxiety. And 2025 is a year where for us Americans, it's all falling apart. And I try really, really, really hard to not look at to actively not look at any of the news, but it's impossible. And every single day is a little bit worse than the one right before it this year. And it's going to get so much worse. And that weighs super heavy. And so, yeah, this ever since the election, it's been outrageously difficult. But yeah, I wake up and try my best, and that's all I can do. So, yeah. Frosty says, only issue with Miatas are god-awful shocks from the factory. I mean, they're not bad when they're new, but, once they've got 50, 60,000 miles, yeah, they're underdamped. I mean, Mazda has to do that because it's a lightweight car. A lightweight car on banged up roads is kind of a nightmare. Ask every single one of us that have a Miata on high spring rates. And so, yeah, Mazda had no choice. If they had put shocks or shocks on that were more damped, springs on that were higher spring rate, only full-blown enthusiasts would buy them. Any normal human being would not dream of buying a Miata. They would test drive it and be like, hell no, dude, this is gonna break my fucking back. And they'd be right. So yeah, they had no choice. But it's a function of the car being lightweight. when a car is lightweight and the road surface comes up and bangs into one of the tires, the physical body of the car is going to be affected, right? Like you double the weight of a car, and then it's going to want to stay planted, and the suspension is going to articulate. The Miata has a brilliantly designed double wishbone suspension and very low unsprung weight, light wheels, light tires, light suspension arms and components. And so like they did absolutely everything that they could so that the unsprung when you hit a bump, the unsprung mass, mainly the wheel and tire package, moves up and down. The lighter that is, the easier it's going to move up and down, and the less of that energy is going to get transmitted into the body of the car. And so, yeah, they did absolutely everything that they could. But when the car weighs literally half as much as a lot of the other cars that are rolling around, there's only so much you can do. So it is a necessary evil. Brian Kirk says, sorry, I forgot about your stream. I was watching Skittles iGow stream. Oh, what's he doing? Is he? Oh, he's going through all the submissions. That's insane. I can't believe he does that. That wild. Chris Croft says, why is called a Miata in the U.S. Rest of the world? It is MX-5. From what I understand, Mazda did some sort of market research and found that in America it would sell better being called the Miata. In Europe, it would sell better being called the MX-5. In Japan, it would sell better being called the Yunos Roadster. And so, and that's fairly normal. Typically, Japanese cars are typically called something completely different in JDM land versus USDM land versus EUDM land. And so that's a fairly normal thing for them. And it's just marketing. Dan Dilder Turbo says, what was the bind and fly with the soldered motors? Oh, the one you just flew. Newbie Drone Race V2. The new Newbie Drone Hummingbird Race V2 that I bricked on the live stream a couple weeks ago, sent back to them. They reflashed it for me and sent it back. And so this is my first time flying it after they sent it back. Don't change your ESC firmware. It's a specific ESC firmware on the Hummingbird Race V2. Tim S says, I understand, very similar to me. I have MECFS, CPS, chronic pain, depression, anxiety, a whole load of other initialisms. I'm laughing because initialisms is a great word. I haven't seen that in a long time. Somewhat new here, so I hadn't heard the story. I appreciate you mentioning it because it's interesting. Men need to talk about mental health more. There's a horrible stigma with mental health in men, which is basically just that weakness is the worst thing ever, and you're not a man at all if you're not strong, and you know, having mental health issues is not considered to be strong. What's super frustrating about all that is that the people that have to deal with mental health issues are inherently the strongest people that there are. Unfortunately, like, it's, you know, if like not strong is here and strong is here, right? Like, mental illness forces you to be all the way up here, but it takes up that fucking gap, right? And so like this just doesn't exist for you. Whereas like normies, they have this, but like the normies will never get to this level of strength because they don't need to. They don't have something every single day literally trying to kill them. And so it's ultra frustrating that the stigma is like completely backwards. And so I try to talk about it, but I also try to balance that with like not talking about it because a big chunk of the audience has no idea what I'm saying, right? They're lucky enough to not have mental health shit. And yeah, this is a FPV channel. So, but I appreciate the opportunity to talk about it because there are people that have it that are undiagnosed that might hear me say something that they're like, wait, I have that going on too. And that might get them into some kind of a treatment. Be that talk therapy, be that a psychologist, a psychiatrist, whatever. Do something, do anything. Don't let it ruin your life. You've only got one life. Certainly don't let it be the reason that you end it. do absolutely everything you possibly can. Frosty says, I mean, I'm not asking for 14K spring rate, but the amount of body roll from the factory is ridiculous for a 2,300-pound car. Yeah, I've driven Miatas on springs, on fresh shock, not coilovers, fresh shocks and springs that are a little bit stiffer than the factory springs, and it's immediately obnoxious. Like it's just is the way it is. If you look at all the really lightweight cars, they all suffer from this same thing. The factory shock and spring package is just mega soft. It's a thing. But what Mazda did is build a camber curve into their dual wishbone design that even when the fucking thing is wallowing over, it still has a really nice contact patch. And so, yeah, that's nice. Because then we can slam the cars down really low and we don't have to adjust roll. We don't have to correct roll center and stuff like that. We still get a good amount of camber gain as the suspension articulates. Welcome to Car Nerd Talk with Aaron Ciotti. Let's work on a 5.5-inch rig. Sort of a 5-inch. With this mount on it, it's actually a 5-inch rig. But this guy is getting... Oh, actually, hold on. Well, no, yeah. Let's do something on this. The last thing I was working on is... I had to get a longer cable for the O3, and I'm routing it under the ESC, and I tried really hard to get it routed under there, but it's just the ESC is too close to the bottom plate, so I'm gonna have to lift the ESC up a little bit. Oh, god damn it! I have nuts. I use nuts as spacers. Oh god, that means I'm gonna have to pull the entire flight controller off. Let me give it one more shot. So I've got the MIPI cable jammed in here, and it's sort of starting. It's on its way under the ESC here, but it's hanging up on like the capacitor and battery setup. This is a Hobby Wing ESC. Let me get these guys out of the way here. Boy, would it be nice if I could just get this to just sneak under there. Can you be cool? MIPI cable. What if I try it from the other side? Maybe the other side will have a little bit more room. So let's route it over here. And all right, so putting it down there, and I just need to get it kind of started here and just kind of mash it under there. She's mashing it. What show's that from? She's mashing it. It's one of the greatest shows of all time. That's your only hint. This is the problem with slamming these ESCs down really low, but I'll never learn. Come on. Sometimes it's nice to slam the ESC down really low because then you'll have a little bit more room for like a battery strap or whatever. But yeah, situations like this are the problem with doing that. But that actually just moved a little bit. That might be enough to kind of get it started. All right, hold on. I need to actually like look at this real fast, and then you guys aren't going to be able to see when I'm looking at it. So just hang on 1 second. Let's just see what the hell's going on here. So there's the little MIPI, And I think it might actually be almost clear of the of what's holding it back, which is the battery cable and capacitor. This is looking better than when I had it on the other side. So let's see. I hate to use something metal for this, but if I'm just super gentle, in theory, I can just kind of fish this through here. Yep. Okay, come on. Just go. Just go, brother. Please. Just. Can you just go in there? Please. Please. Just get in there. That's it. That's it. There it is. Got it. I thought I saw it moving in there. Awesome. All right, cool. And so now I just need to mash it through a little bit farther, and I think I just got away with murder on that because it would have taken a bunch of time to pull this stack all the way apart, and then I'd have to get the the spacing on the stack all right again, make sure I'm not over tightening everything, but instead it looks like I've managed to just barely get this guy going. And so just feed it through, feed it. Come on. I see you, you're like right there, brother. I wish I could just... The Mippies are so fragile that like I wouldn't dare try to grab it with these. I'm just gonna keep like trying to scoot it a little bit at a time, and then push on the cable from back here, and then just scoot it a little bit more. All right, so there's that. So I'm pushing forward on that. It's like right at the tail end here. It just needs to poop itself out. Come on. Go poop. Come on. Get out of there, you. I can see it. It's right there. Whoop. Come on. Go, go, go. Get out of there. Come on. Go, go. There's no access on the bottom here either. Oh wait, can I see it here though? I can see it right through here. Yeah. Oh, I can see it right through this little tiny hole here. Come on. I got it. I got this. I can do this. Yep. So if I mash it like that, yeah, baby. There it is. And then just moosh it out the back there and clear. Yeah, sweet. All right, so that is good to go. Oh, come on now. Okay, so let's see. With this camera in the front here, how much cable do I have? Do I have enough cable to go to the rear? I don't think I do. Nah, I don't. So I'm gonna have to put the air unit in with the cable. Towards the front. That's totally fine. That is totally fine. The other kind of annoying thing here is that this Cineglide frame is kind of older, and it's from a time where the Vista was the only real thing, and so these are 20 by 20, but the O3 is 25 by 25. I know that they make little plates that sit on the bottom of this. Wait a second, do I have one of those? I have one. Is it for the O3 or for the O4? Hold on, I might use that. If I have it and it's for the O3, I might actually use it because I really like to screw mount these things down. Lots of people just VHB them down, and it seems to be totally fine. But my God, that creeps me out, man. Oh, balls. What did I do? I know I have one of these little plates that sits on the bottom. Is it? I think I know where it is. Hold on. I think it might be in here. Let's see. Is it in my little DJI box here? Did I put it in here? Am I a genius person that put it where it oh, I actually need this, so that's good that I got that out. No. This is it. Yeah, look at me. God, stay organized, friends. Put things, label boxes, and then put things in those boxes. This box is labeled DJI, and I put DJI stuff in it. Ooh, God damn, that's good news. I grabbed this out because I need to mount this double glip-glop double plug antenna. I'm not going to run double antennas. And so I need to mount this fella. I might use just this simple tiny little 45-degree jib jab that'll just kind of sit here. Let's sit on this side. Or yeah, I'll probably do that because this rig is doing this like blue and purple thing. I don't necessarily want to introduce red to the mix, but I do also have this guy. I need to see what works, what the UFLs are gonna fit through those. So I might as well do that now. Let's take a quick look here. Cold Power says, I've driven go-karts before. How different is a Miata? Multiply the horsepower by about 10. It is heavier, but yeah, it's as close to a go-kart as a real car is going to get, but it's still a real car. I mean, go-karts have literally no suspension travel, stupid, basically CVT transmissions. They don't resemble a real car in any way other than 4 seats, a steering wheel, and a seat. I'm sorry, four wheels, a steering wheel, and a seat. But yeah. Tim S. says, I hadn't realized that your stream is a form of talk therapy. That's why you need to do it. You're not alone. You are supported. Thanks for explaining it to me. You're certainly welcome, man. Yeah, you know, I've got to fill 10 hours a week. And so, and like talking FPV for those 10 hours every single week, that's tough. That's super, super, super tough. So yeah, it's nice to be able to talk about things that are a little bit more important than FPV, to be completely honest with you. So yeah, I had a feeling that this little guy's not going to work. This double UFL, it ain't going to go through this little... It ain't going to go through here. I might be able to get one of these UFLs through here, but I'm almost certainly not going to be able to get both of them. Although this one that I just grabbed is much... Hold on. I might be eating my words on that. Let's see. I love these tiny little 45-degree guys. They're so lightweight, and they're just simple. They just go on one standoff, put a little dab at E6000, and it won't... Yeah! I got it. Well, since I got it in through there, let's see if this tube will also work. Yep. Oh, shit. Okay. I think I am going to use this because it's kind of the right color. Which is just, it's black, so it'll just kind of disappear. And I don't want to bring red into this thing. So yeah, it's fine. Cool. Save a little bit of weight too. Not that this is a rig that really needs weight savings, but just again, super simple little 45-degree angle jib jab, and then he'll sit like that, and there we go. Super simple. Push this tube in a little bit farther, maybe put a little dot of E6000 in there as well. And we've got a nice 45-degree up tilt. antenna mount. Pay attention to your antenna mounts and your antennas, friend. If you lose video, you're not going to have fun. And so do everything you can to prevent yourself from losing video, and you'll have a lot more fun. If I was a baller, I would run double antennas. But I don't think I do have the, yeah, but they're red. Nope, we're running this antenna. It's fine. I've actually heard really good things about these antennas. I do want to check something super quick though, because shit, I do have the reverse. They make these little guys in for the left and for the right, and I do have another one. I would rather run one good antenna than two shitty antennas, though. And so we're gonna stick with this. It's fine. It'll be fine. I don't know if I have two left-hand antennas that I can run on this. BMF Space says you have a 3D printer. I do indeed, but I have a bunch of stuff ready to go. Jake FPV says VHB/alien taping. What's alien taping? Is safer due to hard mounting them, having known issues with putting a bunch of force into the bolts and breaking them through the mounting bolts. So I don't. So when I mount them with screws, I use heat transfer tape on the bottom to add a little bit of shock absorption there, and I've actually never killed a single DJI VTX. I don't doubt what you're saying to be true in potentially some cases, but yeah, boy, it's hard to find anybody that's been able to break a DJI VTX. They are just unbelievably stout. Yeah, so this piece here, which I don't know where I got this from. I think this came in a box from someone at some point. I've been waiting to use this, and it's grooved perfectly here to sit on the bottom of the O3, and then it gives you not only 20 by 20 holes, but it gives you a groove to pass your fucking wires through, bro. Look at that. Come on now. Alien tape is clear double-sided tape that rocks. Aha. So yeah, look at that. I'm going to have to make I guess I'll leave the antenna off for now. I'm going to have to make a longer, well, maybe. Hold on. I assumed that I was going to have to make a longer cable because I was planning on going up over top, but now that I'm going underneath, maybe this will be long enough. All right. Having this top plate here is going to drive me completely insane, so I'm going to cut the zip tie off so that I can get it out of here. Every time I work on this thing, I go through that same thing where I leave it zip tied for a while, and then eventually I get frustrated. I had a Vista on here. Oh, right. This is this AIO. This flight controller has a plug header for DJI, and so all I need to do is find the right cable. That's pretty cool. Or yeah, right, because the O3 uses a plug. Oh my god, the Vista, I had a plug that was direct soldered to it, but on this guy, I can yeah. So where are all my cables? Here they are. I'll probably need to make a cable. So this is my little box of ESC cables. This bench cam ain't gonna catch shit. These are gonna be too big though. This is a plug header with what, 6 ports, I think, right? Yeah, 6. So it's 6 on one side. It's probably 6 on the other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, okay, so I need a 6 to 6 plug, and I'm probably not going to have one of those in here. These are all going to be like 8 to 6. No way. There's a 6 to 6, but it's not going to be long enough. Oh, it has to be a longer plug, too. Because it's got to go from the back all the way to the side here. So it's got to be like that long. This is back here. Yeah, that ain't going to reach. That ain't going to reach. Come on, baby. Where's a little bit longer 6 to 6 plug? Hook a brother up. Exist. Exist in here. Be in here for me. 6 to 6. Ooh, is that it? Is that the one? Ooh! Six. Oh, yeah. Cool. And so it's going to be sitting back like that. And oh, wow, this might... Is this not going to be long enough either? Really? Where's the VTX? Here it is. I might actually end up making a cable here, but just let's untwist this. That'll make it just a little bit longer. And let's just take a quick look here. All right, so these are going to be going under. Nope, that is absolutely not going to be long enough. Look at that. Jeez. Yeah, I'm not going to have one of these that's long enough. I can pretty much guarantee it. I'll take one more quick look, though. Long 6-pin to 6-pin. Yeah, no. Oh, what is this? Oh, that's a super short one. Nah, bro. Not happening. Do not have it. That's okay. That's all right. Oh, buddy. He's laying on the floor. The burrito blanket fell on the floor, and he's laying on top of it over there. Look at him. A little turd. Yeah, that ain't happening. Oh my god, it's 11:40 already. Moss1 says, so organized, drool face. Here's step 1 in your organization. Go on eBay. I don't know what to search for. Somebody in chat will know what to search for. You can get like a 5-pack of these for like $10 or something. Just buy yourself a whole bunch of these, and then that's your first step to getting ultra organized. The amount of time that it'll save you digging through bags of shit is yeah, it's worth it. It's totally worth it. Do it, my friends. Get more organized than you are right now. I think I'm gonna make a cable. RDQ and a couple other spots sell these. It doesn't come with this case, but they sell these cable kits where they have the ends crimped onto them, and then they give you the plug headers. This is everything. And so if I look at this, let's see if this, and they'll give you like 3 different lengths: short, medium, long. The long ones you'll never use. You just end up using those as like cables. The medium and the short ones you will use, though. This is a medium. Let's see if it's going to be long enough. So it's going to be in there, and then it's going to run down. Perfect. Yep, this is actually the perfect length. So we're going to make a cable here. We've got ground. We're going to grab voltage, and then it's just RX and TX. I'm not going to use yellow. I'll use blue and green. No, I'll use white. Let's use white. There's nothing green on this rig. Yeah, there is. One of the other cables has green in it. We'll use green. A quick look into the depths of my madness. Yeah, these oh wait, shit. I need the well, I can use this nice black one, but here's the deal. When you have to pick up these little plastic latches on here to get these cables out, you're wearing those little plastic latches. Oh, Stick Flick got it. Yeah, It's Always Sunny. It's from the Thanksgiving Day episode where they're at the table and they are oh god, what do they keep saying? They're squashing beefs. They're at the Thanksgiving Day table squashing beefs, and what's her name? Snails, I think is her name. The girl that goes. She's jerking the Indian guy off under the table, and he says, "She's mashing it," and it's one of the funniest moments in any show ever. Although I can say that about a lot of moments in It's Always Sunny. So, yeah, as much as I want to use that fancy little black bastard, we are going to use these fresh ones that haven't been molested yet. I'm going to need some kind of magnification to be able to see which ones of these have 6. But I think I just found one right away. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's one. And 4. That's an 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, God, look at me. Look at me go. 2 right in a row. I should, that's the next step of organization. Having these in 2, 3. This isn't big enough. It would be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They go up to 8. Some other day. Some other day I'll achieve the next level of organization in one of these cases. Then it probably wouldn't be room for the cables, so I'll use that as an excuse. Okay, so we're going to make a cable real quick here, and I'm just going to cheat. There was already a cable with it that's telling me ground and voltage. I'm just going to guess at these other two because it kind of doesn't matter. Blue doesn't need to be RX or TX. Green doesn't need to be RX or TX. So we can make this one side of the cable we can kind of cheat on. So let's go red. We'll take the other one. So the little latches are facing upwards. So I'm going to hold this connector in the same way. And so it's red all the way on that side. You know, I need magnification to do this too. And all right, so red is going to be all the way off on the left. When you look at this little end, you'll see a tiny little latch. And so you want to make sure that that's going upwards. They shouldn't go in the wrong way. But crazier things have happened. Super gentle during this process. You do not want to mangle where the cable is crimped. So just relax when you're doing this. Try to push on the metal part, not on the cable. Get it all the way up. You'll feel it click, and then just give it a little tug to make sure it's locked in. And then the last thing that I do is I push down on the little plastic latch just to make sure that, especially if you've been pulling up on these plastic latches to reuse these things, always make sure you push back down on the plastic latch. Next up, we've got ground. Check the directionality. Get it in there. Give it a little wiggle. Super gentle. Don't mash it. Don't mash it. Sometimes I'll use tweezers. Super careful. Push it in by the metal. All the way forward. You'll feel it click. Give it a little tug. Push back down on the plastic. On a fresh plug, you really don't need to do that. I'm just doing it to kind of show you the proper procedure. Now I'm going to go blue. Doesn't really matter. and it's right next door. So it's red, black, white, and gray is what they used here. I'm just doing blue and green, and then I'm gonna have to look up what pins are what. That one went in super easy. Give it a little tug, push down. Last one up is green, and wiggle it just a little bit longer. There we go. In, little tug, push it back forward, push down all of these guys. So now we've got our plug header for the VTX itself. You could absolutely just take a guess at the green and the blue, and you'd have a 50-50 chance at getting it right. If you do that, you're going to have to lift up on these latches, and that wears the latches, and I really tried not to do that. These JST plugs are kind of annoying enough as it is. Don't give them an extra reason to kind of fail on you. They will fail on you in their own time at some point by just unplugging and replugging them. So don't do that. Maybe it's silk screened on... Oh my god, it is. It's silk screened on the flight controller. Thank you, Acon. Oh my god. So we've got 10 volts. All right, so we're off to a good start. 10 volts is all the way on the one side. Let's see how this plug header goes in here. So it's open holes up. So all the way off on the right of this thing is going to be voltage. And then right next door is ground. Okay, so all the way off on the right is voltage. Grab that. Now I'm going to put the little hook downwards. Let me just double check. Yep. Hook is going to go downwards. Once I get this one, then it's a little bit easier. There we go. All right, so super gentle. Wiggle it up and down, trying not to mangle where the cable goes into the crimp. There it is. Felt the click. We'll tug, push it down. Cool. And now, right next door was ground. Don't let these get all tangled up. It'll make me crazy. Do it right. Okay, here we go. Got some ground action. Click. Push it down. And so now it gets interesting because DJI did not give us any indication whatsoever of which pins are which here. So we got to go to the internet and type in O3 air unit wiring. And usually that will come up in Google Images. Yep. O3 air unit. Great. Oh, for Christ's sakes. This is, I can see this is red, black, white is... Okay. Third pin is going to go to... It is RX, and so it's going to go to TX. So third pin, which is blue. So blue is going to go to TX on the flight controller. So if I look at the flight controller, the third pin is T3. Awesome. Double check. White, pin 3, RX goes to TX. Beautiful. So these are actually 1-to-1. The way that these things sit, they don't need to cross over each other in any weird way, which makes sense. When Acon made this flight controller, they obviously took a look at what the wiring diagram was for the O3, and they made it match, which is awesome. And so there is blue. Give it a little tug, push down the latch, and then green. Everybody's happy. Nobody's crossing over. For some reason, this green cable is a little bit shorter, though. That's super annoying, but not the end of the world. I'll try my best to ignore it. Just put it in there, and then when we spin this cable up, wow, that's a lot shorter. That's going to drive me absolutely mad. I can't have that. That's too much. That's too much. I can spin that cable up, and it'll look a lot better. Or I can grab a white one, and I bet you it'll be... Yeah, the white one is the right length. So this green one can go to hell. I hate to do this, but I'm actually really good at gently lifting up these plastic latches and doing this. And so I don't recommend this unless you've gotten really good at this and you have some kind of magnification. But once you've done this a bunch of times, you can just barely lift that little plastic latch up. I use the tweezers to... This silicone mat is key because it's got grip. And so I use the tweezers to push this plastic thing down, and then it has enough grip, I can just pick it up the tiniest little bit and then pop it right out there. If you don't have the patience for that, just don't do it. Because it's so easy to lift these plastic latches way the hell up, and then you've like really decreased their strength. I'm lifting it up like a nothing amount. Also, because of the hook, the hook is like at an angle. The hook is angled like that. You don't want to be pulling the wire into the plastic latch. You got to push the wire forward a little bit so that the metal latch is not against the plastic. So you push the wire forward a little bit, then you lift the plastic latch up, and then it'll slide right out of there. If that doesn't make sense to you, you're not ready to do this. Those of you that makes sense to, you're probably ready to not hurt these things because you've looked at it with magnification to actually see what the hell's going on with these little plastic latch bastards that interact with the little metal latch bastard. Those are the technical terms for anyone wondering. All right. Got that in there. Push back down. Give it a little tug. Good to go. And then on this side, we will do the same. Okay. And again, super, super, super gentle. That's the big thing that matters with making and taking these cables apart. You cannot get frustrated. You gotta just chill and enjoy the process. That's in, felt the click, push down on these little plastic guys, and give it a little tug. And just like that, we are good to go. Oh, these are actually, it's actually left to right. Look at that. One of them's on, so that you could hook this up wrong. Okay, hold on, I gotta pay attention to this. So, DJI, so I'm gonna flip it like this, and then so it's gonna be, so it's, the pins are up, and so it's red, yeah, that's important. So you can't, these cables are not reversible. It's one side on one, the other side on the other. So that's important. Look up the wiring diagrams, double check, triple check, and you'll, wait, hold on. Wait, I'm flipping it over. So when it's this way, red is there. When I flip it like this, red needs to be towards me. I almost did that wrong. Yep, I almost wired that up backwards. In theory, I would have noticed it on the flight controller side. But, yeah, now that's correct. Red, black, white, gray. In our case, blue, white. All right, plug that guy in. And then on the flight controller side, it's silk screen, so it's super easy. Pins up, and we've got 10 volt, ground, T3, R3. T3 is blue. The third pin is R on the DJI. So we're good. Yep. This is all set. Amazing. Well, I mean, I did a bunch. I thought I might be able to get this done, but what in the world? Why would I ever think that about anything? I'm gonna fly like one more battery and then we out. But yeah, this guy's gonna sit down there like that. Well, no, this goes on. This goes on here, and then those guys are gonna come down like that, and then so I just need to. Where the? Oh no, right. I'm gonna run M2 hardware up through this. No, I'm not. Yeah, right. No, I'm gonna bolt this down with. Yeah, this is gonna sit like this. M2 hardware, and I'm gonna put a piece of the heat transfer tape here to transfer the heat into this, and then I'm gonna put heat transfer tape on these two guys here to transfer heat into the carbon fiber. So this will sit nice and flat against that. This is gonna be proper. Oh, shit. Is it going to be too tall? Hold up. So this is down. I swear to God, if this is going to be too tall, I'm going to shit my pants. Live on camera. Now we're good. The problem I'm going to run into, though, is with the receiver. I need to have a little bit of space for the receiver. And it doesn't look like I'm gonna. Whereas if this is flat, against the base plate, yeah, I'm gonna be double-sided taping this because I need. I could put the receiver kind of like vertical in here. I have this flipped around backwards, but that doesn't matter. I could also probably like sneak it back in there, but I don't want that. I want it to be up on top here, where I have access to it. So shit, man. I could certainly do taller standoffs, but I'm not going to do that. You guys know that I like to run super short standoffs. That makes me super sad. I do have a couple other O3 builds coming up, though. Maybe I'll be able to use this on one of those. God damn it. I was all psyched up to use this thing. I didn't just throw this thing away. I saved it. Let me use some screws. And this is like a long-range rig that's not long-range, but this is not a freestyle rig, so it's never going to get crashed. So like using the screw holes is kind of like ideal. Damn, dude. This pains me. This is like the perfect rig for this little plate. But yeah, man, that plate is tall. That plate is a tall boy. And the receiver is going to have a UFL on it. And I really don't want to just jam the receiver down in there because that's going to be impossible to access. That's a shame. Oh well. I'll save this for another build, hopefully. Well, it's good that these cables are extra long because now I am going to have to run this up over top. Shit, I hope it's long enough. Should be. Oh, yeah, plenty. Cool. Yeah, so we're still good. So, yeah, I'm going to heat tape this directly to the base plate. And maybe. You know, I've never used the heat tape like this before. I'm going to VHB this, actually. I'm going to VHB it because I know that VHB is super strong, and that'll definitely hold it. As much as I would like to keep this thing a little bit cooler, job number one is making sure this doesn't eject out the side of the damn thing. So, yeah, I'm going to skip the heat tape and just use VHB for that. Well, there you go, guys. Hopefully you'll learn something. Let's fly one more Cinewhoop battery. You better have flown your 6 batteries today, you slackers. And yeah, we'll hang out again on Wednesday. Hold on. Hammer, nerd goggles, cable kit. If you buy any of this stuff, use my affiliate link. Please. and thank you. It's free money. Always use affiliate links. Change your bookmarks to affiliate links. Change your URL bar suggestions to someone's affiliate links. And you'll have more cool shit to watch on YouTube before you know it. Or less people that you like watching will disappear. Actually, hold on. Get caught up on chat a little bit here. Frank Nicholas dropping a link to Alien Tape. Thank you, dude. Cole Power says they should make a new standard for 2 antenna connections called WFL. That would confuse the shit out of a bunch of people until they said it out loud. Then they'd go, ah. Denzel the Terrible says the single antenna is just fine. Save the weight, not going long range with the 5-inch. This will be a rig that does longish range stuff, but it's fine. The single antenna is fine. Frank Nicholas says I learned of Alien Tape from Bardwell. Very cool. Stick flick. And I got that. Got that. Tim S says, are there any must-buy accessories to a Hummingbird V4? But now I'm wondering where to get the mat. I got this mat from Amazon, but get it from eBay. Just type in like silicone work mat. Let's see. Will that find it? Yep. There's a million different ones, all kinds of different colors. This is pretty similar to the one that I've got. Oh, no, this is the exact one that I've got here. Yeah, awesome. I've used a lot of different work mats. This is hands down my favorite. I've used fabric. I've used the cutting mats. I've used the bare table. The only thing I haven't used is glass, but the glass mat thing, it's going to be super slippery. My absolute favorite thing about this mat is the grippiness of it, and I know it sounds like I'm being super pedantic, but it really does make a difference. It also has a magnetic bit here on the top, which is kind of cool. The bottom of the top area, it'll hold the screws down a little bit, which is kind of nice for when you land your Cinewhoop on the damn thing. But yeah, $30 well spent. If you buy it on Amazon, hit my Amazon affiliate link on my website first, if you don't mind. Cole Powers with the... Nope. Cole Powers says, new in CiottiFPV store, latch bastards, TM. Bad says, good morning from the UK. Cole Powers says, not my fault. I would have flown my 6 batteries, but my dog ate it. Ugh, gross. Tell your dog to stop being a dick. One last battery, and then we're out. And we'll do it on the Hummingbird race. I had like 45 minutes to relax, and now I can handle flying this ridiculous thing again. Here we go. 300 mAh battery. Hummingbird Race V2. Thank you, Newbie Drone, for sending this over. Thank you, Newbie Drone, for fixing it after I bricked it. Here we go. All the power on Earth. Whoa! Get in there, Lewis! Missed it. Oh, that little bump against the couch. Come on now. Teddy, you're not even going to wake up for... Uh-oh, where is he? Oh my god, he's already here. Oh my god, so much power! Too much power, too much power. No, no, no. Oh god, please no. Don't make me walk. I don't like to walk. Hey! Teddy's hungry, look at him. He wants to eat Cinewhoops. Hey, hey. Ah, I tried to... Oh, no! No, 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 go behind there. Oh, come on. Hook a brother up. Let me fly, little hummingbird. Oh, God. I haven't hit that monitor in a while. Oh, I got in there. I couldn't get out. No, no, no. No, 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 no. Don't you dare. Yes. Oh my god. Oh! Get you some. Nope. Whoa. Hey! Crash recovery working hard tonight. Ooh. Ooh. Oh! Let me make sure this antenna's still working. Hold on, let's go upstairs real quick. I'm concerned about the little kink in the end. Nah, it's fine. Antenna's still good. Oh! No, no, no! Get. Oh, really? Oh, I forgot I had air mode on switch. Oh, the catch before the crash. Hey! You! Shit. There's nothing better than just hurling this thing up into the air and just watching it carry. Oh, bro. That was like a fucking millimeter from getting stuck in my hair. That was gnarly. Holy shit. I ain't gonna be able to fly much better than that. That was pretty good. Thanks for hanging, friends. CiottiFPV.com to support me if you'd like to see this continue forever. Hang out on my Discord. Ask some questions. Let's build better, fly better, have more fun together. How's that sound? I'll do my part, you do your part, and then I can keep doing my part. Bing bong! Fuck your life! See you guys on Wednesday! Here's some more flying from a crazy expensive Indian wedding. Love you, bye!
Thank you.